But all of you guys here were part of the $1 Million Club in March, so really good job. I see some people in here. Great job. Really good stuff. This is the top 20 for March. So the top 20 is separate from the $1 Million Club. There you go. Hey, you should take this stuff and promote yourself on social media, gang. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no numbers. There's no stats. You're just part of the top 20 or the $1 Million Club. Listen, every other realtor in town does it, right? So if you do it in a nice, tasteful way, it can't hurt. You're not like tooting your horn too loud here, okay? And of course, we have our teams. It seems like it's the same 5 teams every month, okay? Damon, Margie, and Dolly, Darren, Brian, the Casper team, and Stacy Shilley. So great job to the teams here. In case you haven't noticed, there's a big blood mobile outside. Yeah. Have any of you given blood? I'm sure we all have, right? Okay. Usually, how many can go there today? How many can, like 8 of us, 10 of us go?
At least 12 donations.
They're hoping to get 10, 12 of us. So I go, Suzanne goes, Wendy would go, but Wendy's down at Key today, Key Realty. She's taking her ABR course for 2 days. So we're going to be without Wendy. But if you want to just walk into the bloodmobile, they'll sit you down, you fill out a little form. If you're good to go, they take your blood. So, and I think they give away a trip to Hawaii as the incentive. Nice. No, kidding. No, I think you get a pencil that says UBS on it or something. You don't get much of anything. You get a sticker that says you gave blood, right? You get to pick the color gauze pad that covers up your thing there.
Right, so you save blood.
Exactly. All right, gang. Before I get into our normal stuff, I think we want to get to this guy first. What's kind of cool about Brent is that just looking around, I see 5 or 6 of you that I think came because of Brent. Because a lot of you have been around for a while. I don't want to say how long, okay, but as long as this guy's been around. And he's a great resource. He's going to give you his cell number, at least I think he is. Sorry, Brent. But I think he's going to give you his cell number. So you could call him up if you're stuck on a deal. But I don't want to steal any of his thunder. But ladies and gentlemen, Brent Jones, here he is, in the flesh. Woo-hoo-hoo. There you go. All right.
Yeah, this is an easy group.
Easy group here, you know?
Good morning. Good morning. Oh, that was weak. This is Appraisals. Good morning. Good morning. It's too early to be falling asleep. Here are my goals today. No question goes unanswered. Please ask your questions. Let's make this as interactive as we possibly can. Second goal, public service announcement. Go to the dermatologist. Okay.
That's your story. You're going with that, huh? Yeah, you're going with that. Yeah, sure.
Geez, I'm telling you what. Just do that. Put it down. Don't put it off. You never know what could happen. So, how many of you want to talk about the NAR settlement? Anybody tired of that topic yet? Oh, yeah. Let me ask you a question, because I've done about 6 of these sessions since it's been announced. How many of you think it's a nothing burger? Raise your hand. Nothing burger. It's not going to change it. It's not going to change the way business is being done, or it's not going to impact your business. How many of you think it's not going to impact your business? How many of you think it is going to impact your business? And how many don't know? Okay. All right.
How many don't care? No, I'm kidding.
So I'm going to talk about the things that I know and things I don't know, because obviously there's a lot of misconceptions. The main thing is, in my world, is it going to impact appraisals? Okay, that's the only bit. Is this going to mean now that we are going to be deducting commissions? And the answer to that is no. Okay, there are some appraisers going around saying, oh, we're going to have to start verifying with every closed sale what commissions were paid, how they were paid, and who they were paid by. Okay, that's not going to happen. It's already been baked into the cake, just like it's been over the last umpteen years. Fannie and Freddie just came out and said, look, we don't have to worry about it. We're not going to deduct for that. That's the key thing, all right? But I will say this, how many of you have had an appraisal come in low in the last 90 days? Okay, some? All right. The biggest thing that you have to watch going forward is the seller concession number. And not necessarily what you're doing with your subject property, but worrying about what the comps have paid, because really when you go talk to a seller, it's going to become critical to do one thing, and that is talk about net to seller. Because that $500,000 comp that had 20 grand in closing costs If we can tell that that sale was manipulated to raise it up to capture those closing costs and that it actually inflated that value, we're gonna deduct dollar for dollar off that as a comp. The value issue, so I just to give you a little of my background, I've been doing this way too long, 33 years. My peers would argue that's probably 10 years too long. I have a appraisal management company, and we're in 11 states. And so the bulk of the value issues that we see, and value issues being defined as coming in less than contract price, are because of seller concessions in the treatment of it. So make sure that as a buyer's agent or as a listing agent, make sure you're communicating with your clients that, look, this could be an issue in the appraisal. You just gotta be proactive. On that front, why we're seeing other deals come in low, and I'm just gonna give you a couple best practices from here. Run your CMA, you go under contract, run your CMA again. Okay, that comp that just came in 3 days ago that you weren't planning on selling for so low could be that one that submarines your deal. How many of you meet the appraiser at the property? Okay. How many of you think you can't? Okay, so there was a myth that I think appraisers created because they don't want to talk to anybody. You don't usually put appraiser and customer service in the same sentence, all right? It's always been okay to share data with the appraiser, always. Dodd-Frank, when they even had the HVCC, it was still okay for appraisers to get data. We want your data. In fact, Fannie Mae came out this last year and said, agent information is a valuable resource for appraisers. So you can share that information. So when you meet at the property, I will tell you this, give him your best three, him or her, give him your best 3 comps. Okay, don't give us 10 and average out the square footages, don't do that, all right? Give us your 3 best comps. Give us the comps you didn't use. If you know about the neighborhood, if you farm that neighborhood and you saw one that was at 500,000 and then just sold for 435 because the people had to go, there was something. Give the appraiser that information, all right? Give us the options, the upgrades, give us all of that stuff, put it in a package with, and of course, final contract price, and tell us if there were multiple offers. You don't have to show us the multiple offers, just give us a sheet, tell us what the activity was on that, because we're basically trying to prove this to the underwriter. So, put it in a package, give it to the appraiser, say, hey, I know you know what you're doing, here's what I used to price the property, I'll leave you alone, okay? Now you guys gotta raise your right hand. Come on, I promise, I will not leave the seller alone with the appraiser. You guys are coaching? All right, so that's the first one. I put my cell phone number up there, okay? Put it in your phone. All right, let me tell you why. I'm gonna make you do this again. I'm gonna see how coachable you are. I promise. I will not call Brent and ask him to pull my comps. Not 5 properties. I leave these things and I go, hey, you know, oh, hey, thanks, really had a great session, enjoyed it. I got 5 properties I need you to check out for me.
Can you
No.
your numbers?
You know what? I should have been a doctor, right? 702-591-7245. Let me tell you why I do this. I've had a great run in real estate. Like I said, 33 years, I've been supported by the real estate community. You know what we do, appraisers, it should be a little bit more transparent. If you get a property that you are stuck on, that you just don't know how to handle, whether it's what I call a unicorn property, whether it's got a, solar, or it's got basement, or it's got guest houses, or there's no comps, and how I would do things, I'm more than happy to share that with you. You can text me. If it doesn't go to me, then it'll go to one of my staff. I've got 3 analysts and 3 staff appraisers, and we can get you an answer. Again, I can't give you a value over the phone. I'm not going to be able to value anything, but I can certainly tell you how we would do it. Yeah.
Do you have an average miles out per property? I know it's going to vary, but if it's on a golf course or whatnot, but do you personally use 1 mile, 2 miles, half a mile? Is there an average?
So, it all depends on the market. So, there was a rule, a guideline with Fannie Mae that said, you can't go a mile. I can go 10 miles. My job is to find the 3 best sales, the most similar sales that I have to make the least amount of adjustments to.
And do you do I do 90 days, do you go farther than?
Okay, I'll tell you how I pull comps. All right, you guys are gonna go, God, you get paid for this? You're gonna think this. All right, so let's say we have a 3,000 square foot house. We'll call it a 2-story home. 3,000 square foot, 2-story home. The first thing I'm gonna do, let's say it's in a regular neighborhood, just a pocket neighborhood, nothing special. First thing I'm going to do, I'm gonna run the subdivision. I wanna see everything in that subdivision. I wanna see what the 1-story smaller homes are selling for. I wanna see what the 4,000 square foot homes are selling for. For you, it's always gonna be a good idea because that seller's gonna always tell you what? About the highest priced home in the neighborhood. So you need to know about that. I wanna know about it because I wanna see what the absorption looks like. I wanna see how long homes are on the market, all right? Once I do that, I go, okay, I've got this 3,000 square foot home. I'm gonna go out, I'll start out at a mile, all right? And I'm gonna look at everything, I'll put a 20% figure around that. So I'll go 2,400 up to 3,600 feet, 2-story to 2-story. Guys, do not give an appraiser 1-story comps against a 2-story unless you're waiting for it to be deducted, because 1-stories carry a premium over 2-story homes, just because of the demographic, people moving in don't want stairs. So the minute I get my set of data, okay, just with that one filter, the next thing I'm doing is I'm going over to the proximity button. I'm gonna now see the closest, I'm gonna go down one by one and look at the closest sales and try and find the closest, the most recent, okay, to answer your question, how far do I go back, and the most similar in square footage and amenities. Now, I'll go down through that, then I'll go and I'll start looking at the listings, because I want to see what the current market is. The principle of substitution in our world. Why would I buy something for $600,000 if there's a listing at $580 that I could buy the same thing? So just common sense. Go down through and look at your closest sales. Try and find the most recent. And then when markets are moving, then I'm going to spread my proximity out to try and find the comps that sold today. When markets are stable, as they have been relatively stable. I mean, who's watching inventory? Anybody? I mean, guys, watch inventory every week. I mean, it has stayed put at 4,700 homes. It has not moved. There's already been 1,500 homes sold this month. It's gonna be a good month. We've been at 2 months supply. You know what, I think it's starting to get frothy. We're starting to see offers where there's appraisal language, buyer willing to pay X over appraised value. You know what that is for us? Code, that it's overpriced, that the sales price has been maneuvered. So in terms of the consequences of the commissions and the concessions, every deal now is going to be structured. We know it as appraisers, all right? You've got to get a down payment that works. You've got to get concessions that work, that help the buyer qualify. Now you're going to have commissions that are going to need to be paid. We know as appraisers, we can see the chain of how things are negotiated. Okay, oh, now it's $8,000 in closing costs. Oh, now it's $13,000 in closing costs. It's probably going to be, hey, this much in commissions. That's going to all get added into the soup. Give yourself room. If I have one thing, I am being filmed, but I would say list your properties a little higher than you would. Give yourself room to negotiate, because big red flag in Appraiserville is you got a listing at $500,000 that's been on the market for 60 days, and now you got a buyer that needs $15,000 and the seller doesn't want to go down. That new contract price at $515 is going to make the hair on my arm stand up. I know it's not real. I know it got added in. And the same thing with the comps. When we're looking at the comps, and we can look at the history of the comp and see that it was at 500, but woo, voila, it's now at 515, you can bet that appraiser, whether it's conventional, VA, FHA, is going to jam it down. And hence you have the $3,000 to $5,000 value issue. You know, it's not the appraiser's an idiot. He doesn't want to come in low. You guys know why? Because everybody then reads the report. he'll look at me and go, "Hey, Brent, man, I've been doing this 30 years now, never mispriced a property."
Never.
Never. I don't want that conversation, all right? Appraisers don't want to come in low. But we have to do our job, which is, look, we have a contract. You give us a contract, you give us a target. My point is that that target is going to be less important for us because we're knowing that every deal is going to be structured. And I think that's the change. If the way the NAR settlement stays the way it is, it's one extra phone call. Everything else has remained the same. On the buyer's side, yes, you absolutely are going to have to show value as to why you're earning your commission. I saw an 81-point checklist of the things buyer's agents bring to the table. I listened to a Tom Ferry seminar. How many of you listen to him? Tom Ferry?
Yeah.
Sell the sweat, right? Sell what you do. And the key thing is, as appraisers, look, we're trying not to get in the way, and we want your deals to succeed, okay? We want to do our job. We want to be the referee. So give us those tools to do that. If you have a bunch of contrived adjustments within your purchase contract where we see this back and forth between, guys, do your negotiating outside of that contract. Just give us a clean contract that shows where you are. Don't talk on paper, because that paper, we get all of it, we're gonna see exactly what happened. What do you guys wanna talk about
I have
today?
a question.
Yeah, please.
Do you only look at the MLS or do you look at the Star?
So if I can, you meet me at the subject property and you say, hey, there's this for sale by owner that I use to price this, and here's the numbers of those people that you can verify the sale. So I have to be able to verify what the seller concessions were, make sure that it was an arm's length transaction, not between family members, okay, because a lot of we don't know. So we won't give it as much weight. If it makes sense, we will, but we have to be able to have a second source of verification other than just the tax record. That's why we use MLS and tax.
Well, the reason why I asked is because I had a listing, we listed it kind of high in the beginning because my clients were still fixing up another home that they bought. It was on the MLS, then it was withdrawn. So I reached out to the listing agent, he's like, oh, the owner found their own buyer. So I waited till it closed, and then I found the tax record, which helped.
Well, and if it was
Because it
previously
was
listed,
on-
then it does help us.
It was listed and then it said
Withdrawn.
listed, no, it was under contract.
Oh, okay.
And then withdrawn, so I don't know what happened
Yeah,
there.
we might use that. I mean, if I can see what the inside of the house looked like, if I've got a record of it, and I can see that it was, listed at market or above market, I'm not gonna discount it for, being a for sale by owner. Good question. Yeah. Yes?
Solar.
Come on. Get out of here. I don't know. How do you guys wanna do it?
It's just, there's so many different situations out there.
Well, now there's some new fields that were added into the MLS.
PPAs, there's leases,
Yeah.
there's loans. I had a situation though that specifically that bothered me where, the listing, it was an owned system that was originally financed but paid off. Relatively new, he's only like 5 years old. Had all the paperwork, it didn't show it in the remarks that it was fully owned, but it showed it in the agent.
In the
agent
field? Oh,
remarks that
did it
was-
show it in the owned solar field?
Yeah,
Okay.
it showed that it was owned, but there was no record, right? They didn't provide any proof necessarily initially
Right.
that it was paid off. And so when the appraiser came in, I sent the information that hey, it's paid off solar, I emailed the appraiser, right,
Okay,
I gave him
good.
information. I looked at the appraisal and he assigned no value.
Oh, to an owned solar?
Yes.
See, and I would argue with that, because if it's owned free and clear, that's when I'll give it value. If it's on any kind of payment plan where if there was a default, that they could come and rip it off the roof, then I'm not gonna give that value.
Right.
But it's usually fractional. I mean, the problem is the people were sold a bill of goods. How many of you have had a solar sales guy at your house? Is he still there? I mean, the guys, they
I
never
don't leave.
They're bulldogs. There's no coming back. So they tell people. I mean, in Reno, there's a company that tells people that whatever the cost is of that solar, it is going on to the appraised value. It's crazy. Yeah.
So what happened in mine, though, I did all that, and I actually sent the appraiser an email saying, you know, we actually dove into the tax credit, reported, so the lien release, and, you know, send them all that information, and just change the appraisal.
Did you talk to him directly?
No.
Okay, good. Yeah, always, guys, whenever you have an issue with an appraisal, whether it be, and that goes also, if you get a low appraisal somewhere and you want me to look at it, I'm more than happy to look at it, okay? The key thing is you can't go at the appraiser directly. You have to do everything through the lender.
Yeah, I did. I said that.
And the key is that you want to use the idiot word, and you can't use that. You got to be respectful. But anytime I can help you, I can look at it. It takes me about 5 minutes. Then.
So Brent, to Kurt's question, let's say he took a listing, the seller paid 40 grand, it's paid off, it's 5 years old. Do you know that he paid 40? Do you want to know that?
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Right, of course, right? And you're going to give him a snippet
It'll be a
of the
fractional
right.
number.
Okay.
You know, I mean, I've seen on a $40,000, I've seen adjustments as high as 20. I've seen adjustments as low as 5. It's there's no rhyme or reason to it.
Is it kind of like swimming pools, same?
So there was a question earlier about that. So whenever I make an adjustment, regardless of what it is, I always think about the contributory value to the overall value. So a pool, I'll test, before we start trying to prove things, I'll test 6 to 8% of the overall value. So if I've got a $500,000 home, I got a pretty good idea that pool's probably worth 30 to 40,000. Could go up if it's newer, it could go up if it's got, you know, water feature, an exterior living area along with it, or it could be less if it needs plaster, pool equipment needs to be done, it's at the end of its life. So that's kind of my rule of thumb. The key is when you're pulling comps, I'll spread my search out to find those pool comps. If I've got a larger lot size, I'm gonna spread my search out to find those because I don't wanna have to make the adjustment. Okay. Yeah.
How about the size of the pool, since now you're limited to 600 square feet?
Tiny pools now.
Yeah.
You know, we're not that good. I mean, look, sometimes, and I know we guess, sometimes we don't have the data. You do the same. It's common sense. Here's how I do it. You'll laugh. I think about the house with a small pool, all right, and one with a big pool. And I go, all right, I'm looking at both these houses. How much more would I pay for that big pool than I would a small pool? What is that number? Is it 10,000? Is it 20,000? Sometimes that's what I have to do because I can't prove that the small pool sold for less.
Yeah, but you can't build that big pool anymore.
Absolutely.
So what do you add for that?
Again, if I can't prove it statistically, then I have a hard time with that. I may try and make it up in other areas and give it a higher value in my adjusted range. Good
Just
question.
out of curiosity, is that in all 3 cities in Las Vegas Valley?
I
The
think so,
county, Henderson?
That's quite good. How are we on time?
You're good.
What do
You're
we
good. No, you're fine. Keep going.
got? Yeah.
Do you look at the home inspection? What happens if you walk in, there's a big crack in the floor?
All depends on the loan type. So if it's conventional and it's not a safety hazard or a health and safety issue, then I'm not gonna worry about it. But if it's FHA or VA, you know, we've seen some tree trunks lately that have managed to hoist up a driveway. If you can trip and fall over it, it's getting called for. Yeah. Yeah?
On the seller's end, if we're representing a seller and your property is owner occupied and you're due to come out, and you know your owner is going to be chatty with you, is there anything you could advise me, tell them ahead of time, or?
Shut up.
Get them out of the house.
There you go.
Should I tell them not to be there when you come?
Yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you don't want them there.
Okay.
You don't want for a host of reasons. You know what, I mean, they'll tell, an unsupervised, here's what I want, think of the appraisal as another sale you have to make. If you think of it like that, make sure you take out all the variables, because we will hear stuff, they'll tell us about the mold, they'll tell us about the pool table, they'll tell us about the sex offender down the street. I swear to God. I'm not lying, I can't make this stuff up. I mean, This was the nicest lady too. I mean, she had baked goods wafting in the air. The house was spotless. The kids were playing nicely. And she goes, hey, I gotta be honest with you. I never want to have that seller say those words. I want to be lied to. And to answer your question, I don't want to see a home inspection. Unless, if you're on it depends on what side of the transaction is. If you're on the buyer side and you want those repairs, put in and included, that's one thing. You're the seller, don't open up that can of worms. They're not home inspectors, yeah.
Yes, if we're gonna list for the custom home is a very different.
Right.
How do you appraise?
So I'm gonna use, usually customs will be on some kind of acreage, half acre, acre. Give us everything they've done, give us all the construction, the materials, whether they have 2x6 construction, extra insulation, what they did interior finish wise, what they spent is good. If you have a cost breakdown from their original construction, then I'm gonna look at custom homes, and I could go out as far as I want, because I'm gonna use a half acre as kind of that half to an acre as my key search element. Because I know that if it's on a half acre, it's probably a custom home. I'm gonna try and compare like to like as much as I can, but then it gets very subjective. Obviously, not all remodels are created equal, not all custom homes are either. So, good question. But any other, yeah?
New construction,
Okay.
is it based strictly on demand?
Is it what?
The value is based on demand.
The value, so in new construction, the fix is kind of in, because we only use new construction comps. So we have to use 2 sales from the builder, which they give us all the information, they give us all the upgrades, they give us everything that people spent. Then we have to use 1 outside from a competing builder, and then we have to use a pending or a listing from within the subdivision. So demand, no, but we've had some come in low where the people have overdone it on the options and upgrades. It's got to be consistent with what other people have done. And so usually there's no problems, because the builder gives us a lot of the builders are pretty smart now. They do a lot of cash stuff up front, so we have cash transactions to use as a comp. That answer your question?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Addition to those custom home, how much you will charge around $5,000 and $10 square feet?
In terms of the livable, yeah, there's no ballpark on that. So each one, whenever we make a square footage adjustment, and that's a good question, and this is one of the reasons we see some value issues, is because we don't go by price per square foot. So we don't look at, if you got a $300 square foot, a $300 square foot neighborhood, and if there's any square footage differential between the comp and the subject, we're not just gonna take that differential and multiply it by 300. When we make a livable area adjustment, we segregate out just the livable area, so we get rid of all the land value, we get rid of everything else other than we're just compartmentalizing the livable area. So what we'll do is we'll adjust that square footage, maybe 30 to 40% of the overall price per square foot. So, to give you an example, you got a 3,000 square foot home, I've got a 2,700 square foot comp. I'm gonna take that 300 square feet in a $300 a foot neighborhood and only multiply that by $75 to $100. That's gonna be the difference that I'm gonna make in an adjustment. Now, my goal is always to find comps that are the same, so I don't have to make that adjustment. But that works the other way too. If you have a 2,800 square foot comp, I'm not gonna deduct it by that 300 a foot. I'm gonna deduct it by anywhere from 75 to 100. Okay, that makes sense? It's a little confusing, but think about when you have a difference in a comp, know that it's fractional. We're not taking that full price per square foot and just applying it to the difference. And that helps you on if the comp's bigger, hurts you if the comp's smaller.
Because as agents, I think that's what we do, right? We're square foot price. That's all we look at, right, as agents. And if it's 300 square feet difference, it's $200 a square foot, oh, that's $6,000, but it's not. So we just gotta be careful with that.
All right, so before I go, I'm gonna give you guys a homework assignment, all right? I want you all to go to www.valuetest.ai.
No, just so you know, when people are a little bit seasoned, they say www. Just saying, love you to death, big boy. We don't need the www.
Look at this.
No, I'm not looking. No, I'm not looking. Valuetest.ai? Valuetest?
Valuetest.ai.
Right, there you go. There's a great site, guys. You got to go on here and play around with
Go
it.
on the site. So here's what this is. There's a 30-day unlimited free trial, so you got nothing to lose. There's no credit cards. I developed this with a company out of New York called PropMix. What it does is it creates a property report that has two different sets of scenarios, search parameters that expand, like I was talking about. It starts out at a 15% square footage, 5 years in age, really tight 6 month. It gives you two different property reports. Once we have those parameters in and we get a set of data, then the AI kicks in and tries to match up in terms of similarity scoring. It's not an AVM. It does not compete with RPR. It's not for Zillow. It's not for Realtor.com. We're not doing that. What we did is we wanted to give you the preliminary research that comes across an appraiser's desk so you can see, number one, the comps you want to use and the comps that may need to be used to troubleshoot the appraisal. Within this NAR settlement, one of the things that became clear is that buyer's agents, you know what, you've got to be able to show your value. So here are the things that you need to remember this. You know what, you can tell your clients, you're going to take them out, every property, you can run this on your phone, use AI, it's going to help you get them the sharpest pricing. The second thing you can tell them, hey, we have an appraisal research company that comes in, talks to us, I can call them, access them if you have any questions. And the third thing is on the listing side, if you've got somebody who's locked into their Zillow estimate, and how many of you ever hear that? Well, Zillow says, right?
Never.
This is really the anti-Zillow, okay? So the report itself, super simple. I know we have time, I'm not gonna run you through the interface. Guys, check it out. I'd love to get your input. I'd love to come back in 30, 60 days. See how you'd like you liked it. We're adding in the seller concession field, so you're gonna be able to see what the actual seller concessions were on the comps. We're adding in a price per square foot range field in it as well. And like I said, 30 days free look at it all you want. Use it for your prospecting, use it for your listing appointments. Try it, break it, tell me, text me, tell me what else you'd like to see. It's got lien amounts, so you can see what the people owe. It's got estimated rents, so if you have investors, you can see what the rent. And it's going to be a $16 a month report, unlimited subscription, or $5 if you just want to go a la carte. So it's super affordable. We're in 400 MLSs across the country, so if you have other MLSs that you're licensed with, you can actually access that information there as well.
All righty, gang. What do you think?
Right.
Good stuff, right? There he is, baby. Still got it, big guy. You still got it. You still got it. No matter what they say, you still got it. You still got it. Yeah, I know. Right? Exactly. All right, a quick, before we get to Stacia, this was in the paper today, front page of the business section. For a Realty One Group t-shirt. Who wants to, so in the last 4 years, 20, 21, 22, 23, how many Californians have moved here? Trivia question, give me a number. 120? 120,000. How much? How many? 43. 43, 120. 158,000. 158. Woo! See, some of you read the paper, and some of you don't. I can tell by the answer. I'm an old guy. I say paper, okay? The answer is, where's the answer? $158,000. So the first answer was Amy. Good job, okay? But whoever gets 158 gets a t-shirt. So where's Amy? It was Brianna. So whoever had 158, give them a t-shirt, okay? So I saw that today. I thought that was kind of cool. We have this love-hate thing with California, don't we? I mean, it's kind of a weird thing that we have with California. But 158,000, who knew? All right, gang, let's get to some other stuff here. Let me get through some slides here real quick. We got the blood today, later on today at 1 o'clock. if you want to hop on Zoom with Justin, he's doing a TikTok class. Okay, so if you want to get your TikToking. Huh?
It might be banned today.
It might be. So rockuniversity.com, onerockstars.com, you can register. I'll be on it. I think Barbara's probably going to be on it. A bunch of us will be on it, so you want to be there. Speaking of Rock Title, stay with me, gang. Stay with me, please. Stay with me. Tomorrow, Barbara's pulling up the taco truck. She's not going to be cooking the tacos, but she's going to have the taco lady cook them. So come by tomorrow, have a taco, margaritas. We got a bunch of other stuff. Where's Suze? Suze ran out.
There's no end time, I like that.
Yeah, it's 11:30 to whenever the food runs out. Really, whenever the truck lady has no more food. So I would recommend getting here at 11:30. You know, a lot of people eat the food more than they should. April 30th, the Just One Project. We need 15 of you to volunteer to go down there to bring water and peanut butter. That you're all going to bring a case of water into the office, right? You're all going to bring in a jar of peanut butter, right? And put it up front. And we're going to volunteer down there for a couple hours on April 30th for our one-day celebration, which is the 19th anniversary of Realty One Group. Okay, so a lot of fun. You get a nice Realty One Group T-shirt, all that kind of good stuff. So that's April 30th. And also next month, right, Barbara? No, this month. Here it is, next Tuesday. Okay, how many went to the listing reports class yesterday with Barbara? How cool was that, right?
That was very awesome.
Unbelievable, right? How cool is listing reports? Okay, this is the same thing, but different. Okay, it has to do with postcards and marketing and farming. Okay, really, really cool. I used this for 7 years at RE/MAX religiously. God knows how much money I spent through Corfact, but it worked. It worked. Okay, beautiful postcards. She'll go into more detail than I ever can. Okay, anything you want to add, Barbara?
You set it up.
I did. Fantastic. Okay, May 14th, donuts with the president. So all of LVR is going to get this email and get this flyer, and we're going to have this event here on May 14th out in the main room, because I think we'll have more agents than we have here. And Mary's going to bring us some donuts, and she's going to talk about LVR, talk about the lawsuit, talk about the settlement. She's been involved in lots of meetings that none of us know about, because she's the president of LVR. Okay, so she's going to share all that on May 14th. Okay, so kind of keep that in mind. Some more stuff from Justin, as we all know, the Monday and Thursday classes. Okay, look at those two good-looking guys, huh? Look at that. Look at those good-looking guys. But on May 7th, me and Jeff are going to do the class that we did last time. After the meeting a couple weeks ago, we did a BBA class, if you remember. We're going to do one on a Tuesday in the Northwest, following their meeting. So if you want to come take that again, we'd love to see you up there. Okay. May 31st, if anyone wants to get involved. I think we're going to do this. Judy, did you bowl last year with us? No, you didn't bowl. 8 of us bowled last year. LVR has a charity bowling event. It's a lot of fun. It's down at Sunset Station. 400 or 500 realtors go. It's $25 a head. You bowl 3 games. It's lots of fun. They start drinking at 8:30. You know, really, shots are going at 9 o'clock. It's just, it's lots and lots of fun. So we like to get a few teams that want to do that, but we'll talk more about it as we get closer. We got the baseball game coming up in July 20th over at Las Vegas Ballpark. That's Rev Up. Okay. How was that fruit today? The fruit was pretty good? The fruit from Stacia, right? How good was that, right? You know? You spoiled us with others. You spoiled us with the Chick-fil-A and all that stuff. But John let us down. John let us down. Okay.
He did text me and he did text back.
Great.
He is at
He brought it to Mark's office, right? Great.
He's at the
Great.
Southwest
Great.
office
Yeah.
the third Thursday of every month.
Of course he is.
And last month I had flip-flopped because I did go on a Hawaiian vacation.
Oh, there you go.
And so he just presumed that I was there every third Thursday. of
Got
the
it.
month.
No
so
worries.
when he said, I'll bring Einstein's if you want to bring fruit, I'm like, perfect. But didn't realize that he was going to be at Southwest and I'm here. So
There you go.
you know what? Communication is so important.
A little bit.
When you don't know what you don't know, right? Hard to follow appraisals and hearing all this great stuff, but Tim touched on the fact that Barbara just had a class on listings, and so if I can just kind of play
How
off
many
of
were there?
that,
How many?
27.
You've
got some great information.
Oh, okay. Oh, well. Watch them call 5.
If you are using seller's coverage as an enhancement to your listing, it's free. The benefit of seller's coverage is that, let's say they have, you have a listing, you put the free, it's limited, you don't get everything for nothing. nothing, so, but you put that seller's coverage on, it's our silver plan, if you wanna see what our silver plan is, you can choose the QR code or grab a flyer out back, but if something fails during the listing, we will cover up to $1,500 of repairs under that. We are covering the laundry list of what comes back from a home inspector, that's now a known pre-existing condition. We don't cover known pre-existing conditions. We cover unknown pre-existing conditions. So don't use those in conjunction with one another, but the benefit of then turning around and closing it with a buyer's policy is the hardest time during the listing or during the move is if you use the AC. Somebody moves out, they leave the door open. They're not shutting the AC off. It's working harder and harder, especially in the summertime. And it's working to its limit. And then somebody moves in and they're not shutting the AC off. They want to feel cool when they walk in with their new couch or whatever. And so the AC is working harder and harder because the doors aren't open during that time. And they sit down and they're on day 4 of living in their new home and the house isn't cooling. And they call into their home warranty and things don't typically fail from normal wear and tear in 4 days or 2 weeks. And so we dispatch someone and they say, it's not covered, coils were dirty, and there was potentially a leak in those coils, there's no refrigerant left, and the claim is denied, and they're calling you and they're angry at you because you sold them something that didn't work, and then you call me and you yell at me because we aren't covering what we don't cover. If there's listing coverage on the property, there is a charge of $70 to have the HVAC.
In the future, tell her to make copies of that, because it's hard to read, that's all. See? It's in there, but.
If they have that coverage and it didn't fail during the listing, then we have a
So
little bit of
it's there, yeah, but no one can read it, so.
closing with the same warranty company that you have.
Yeah, I thought so too, yeah, but we got too much crap in here as it is.
If you build it into your listing presentation, say, hey, this is $440 to offer them this basic policy. They have 60 days after close of escrow to update, upgrade, add options, all the extra bells and whistles. But it helps mitigate your liability. We're the only company at this point that also covers refrigeration in our basic refrigerant in our basic policy. We're not charging them per dollar, per pound. So we're not covering just $10 or $20 when it's $200 a pound for the refrigerant. So you end up spending so much more money. We cover it in our silver, in our gold, and our platinum. We don't charge a handling fee. So you have that carryover from maybe 30 days, 42 days on the market that it didn't fail, and maybe it does now because of that already usage during the move out and residual move in, and they don't have pickup when they go in. Of course, it depends on the level plan that they have as far as what we cover residually, if it's permits, what upgrades or modifications. Those are higher cost plans, but at least the system, if it means something, is likely going to be covered.
Why?
If the system
What is that
needs to
about?
be clean, we don't clean. So, we don't know, we have no teeth in the game at all during your whole negotiation process. We don't
Did you
have
want
a
it?
policy until it's active and somebody has moved in. So when somebody says, well, it works at the home inspection, that wasn't part of us. We didn't have anything
It's a Mary
during
Berry.
the home inspection, but we did it.
Mary, it's just like she gives me and you all that realtor stuff, the pad.
In addition to your presentations, if you're looking to, hey, you know what, let's put a limited protection on your home, so if something fails, and 9 times out of 10, I don't know, well, I do kind of know why, the dishwasher. And it's because a lot of people don't use their dishwashers, and then they start running it when they have the inspection and they have the appraisal, and it seizes up. But that's probably our most frequent claim during listing coverage that fails and we get a call out for. But it could also make a transaction tank, because if somebody says, gosh, I have to buy a $1,500 dishwasher, maybe it's not, somebody had a $2,000 one recently and our cap is $1,500, so, but It's a lot better, easier to come up with 500 than it is to come up with 2,000. So, and then of course, residually, depending on the plan that they have, appliance limit coverage for our silver is 3,000, our gold is 5,000, and our platinum is 7,000, and that's per major appliance. So that's a lot larger dollar amount, but in that free listing coverage, there is, we have lower limits, but it could really keep a transaction on track so that you don't want to have somebody go out of escrow just because they need a new coil. And most coils cost around $1,500, so it can keep, a transaction in play and everybody's happy, hopefully. So if you aren't working with someone that you like, trust, or have confidence in, you have a listing coming up and you'd like more information, this is my information here. It's got my cell number. I'm not going to answer it while I'm in. Sometimes I'm having a personal concert in my car, so I don't hear the phone ring. But I will call you back if you leave me a message. I don't have every single person's phone number programmed into my phone to know, and I get a lot of spam calls. And I get homeowner calls for claims that I'm not allowed to talk to. So leave me a message. I will get back to you. And I'd love the opportunity to work with you. Thank you.
There she is. Hey, and I think you covered it. If you get a listing, gang, you need to put seller's coverage on the house. You really do. It's a great add-on, and it adds to your value that you're showing to the seller. If you don't know what that is, call Stacia or ask me or Wendy.
I have sign writers and tape
Got all this
notes.
stuff. Yes. Wendy's down at Key getting her ABR today, so she'll be back on Monday. Okay. Before Maria pops up here, Brent, give me two numbers between 1 and 27. Just pick two numbers.
You don't want me to do this?
There you go. Come on, baby. It's Karnak, like on Johnny Carson here. There we go. See?
23?
23. The winner is?
Federico.
Federique. Where is she? Oh, there you go. All right, Federique. All of this is equal to about $7 of stuff. We got pens. We got T-shirts. We got all that stuff. And one more.
17.
17.
Anna.
Where's Ann? And which Ann? Ann's, oh, the winner again. There she is. Now, I don't know about this, Ann. This could be for a guy, but there's a realtor belt. Don't know where that came from. Don't want to know. Could have been Damon's. It could have been someone else's. I don't know, but it's a realtor buckle. Sorry, a realtor buckle. It's kind of cool, actually. I wouldn't wear it, but someone might. Somebody might wear it. I don't know. Somebody might wear it. I don't know. Yeah. So you got a realtor buckle here. Okay. Two things with Maria. She's going to talk about this form. It's in your handout. Very difficult to read, but we'll make some more copies and maybe leave them up front. But also, we want to play a little short video. Does anyone know what an escalation clause is?
Yes.
What is it? Come on. Go on. Tell me what it is.
It's when you offer 1,000 over or 500 over the highest offer received.
So meaning the buyer puts it in the offer? Hey, oh.
Acceleration clauses, also referred to as
All right, let's play the legal minute, and we'll talk about it.
today's legal minute will highlight an issue that's presented itself in current hot market conditions. It's the use of acceleration clauses, also referred to as escalation clauses. An example of an acceleration clause is, I will pay $2,000 above the highest offer up to some dollar amount, let's say $300,000. The reason this is problematic is it gives one buyer an automatic advantage over all the other buyers and undermines fair dealing. So members often ask me, well, what if I disclose the acceleration clause to the other buyers? Have I leveled the playing field? Have I supported fair dealing? Well, you'd be up to the commission's discretion and mercy and potential for fines $10,000 per violation. The division has come out strong against these types of practices. They say they're strongly discouraged and that they undermine fair dealing. So agents engaging in this type of behavior have an uphill battle before them. The presumption is against them. So the message here is one of caution, to take special care with regards to the agent's duty to treat all parties to the transaction fairly. So what do we do with this information? Well, it's really to lead with your best foot forward. So if the buyer is willing to offer $300,000, then offer $300,000, highest and best. Another option is the buyer agent can reach out to the listing agent and ask what other offers are on the table. It's a common misconception that offers are confidential. So the buyer's agent, after surveying the offers out there, can submit an offer on behalf of their client a hair above the rest, and even better yet, without engaging in dirty tactics that could land them in front of the division. For more information on acceleration clauses, check out the Nevada Real Estate Division's Law and Reference Guide. Also, NVR has an article on how to handle multiple offers with care. Thank you so much for watching today's legal.
So what's the moral of the story, gang? There you go. There you go. It's not that hard. We've seen a few lately. That's why. I saw one yesterday written by one of our agents to one of our agents that has the listing. so we're on both sides of this shit show, potentially, if you know what I mean here. You know? So yeah, well, we squashed that baby real quick here, you know? But if you could get called down to the division, and it's an automatic $10,000 fine. Okay, so don't do it. If you get an offer like that, just politely call up the buyer and say, hey, Joe, I appreciate your offer. It's a great offer, but my company doesn't allow us to present escalation clauses to our sellers. Could you rewrite your offer or take it off? If he gives you a hard time, just let me know. I'll call his broker. His broker will agree also that it shouldn't be there, I'm sure, okay? But it's not happening a lot, but it's happening, okay?
Isn't that the same as in the additional terms? They can put buyer to pay $10,000 over appraised value. Isn't that the same thing?
Nah, Brent said that's okay. He's an appraiser. He said it's okay. So we just blame Brent. You know, yeah, that's a normal thing.
Yeah, that's code that everybody knows it's overpriced.
Exactly. That's it. Pretty much. Pretty much. Okay. So again, this is the referral agreement. We all know what this is, right? Yes. How hard is it to fill this out, right? Really, pretty simple, right? Okay. But the problem we're having is what Maria's going to talk about. Okay. So here's a quick example. I'm an agent here, and I send my buyer to Ricky and Remax, Ricky at Realty One in California, and I get 25% referral fee, right? 25% of the commission received by the recipient broker on the referred side of the real estate transaction. So she closes, the other agent in Realty One closes at $10,000 commission. How much am I going to get? Right? Pretty simple, right? It's not that simple. And Maria's going to explain why the issues are occurring a lot. There she is, Maria Oakes, everybody. There she is. All right. Come on now.
Okay, so what's been happening, and I actually just had to reject another one this morning, is you guys are
nice.
treating really well.
Yeah, I'll post it on the Facebook. Yeah.
I always have you post. So I'm gonna make it easy, okay? On the fee section, the second line.
Can you blow that up a little?
Nah, that's as good as it gets. No. It's in the handout, which is even smaller. Okay, it's in transaction desk. You can find it in there. Okay. Okay.
If you put in there 25%, it's 25% of your commission. It's not 25% minus everything else. Okay. So there's two things in here. You guys are doing them where you're putting in 25. Where's the thing with the right?
The marker? Not laying around? Where'd it go? Brent took it? When in doubt, blame the guest. There it is. See, I told you. There you go.
Okay. So on number 2, 25%, right? Off the top.
2,500. Keep it simple, right?
Okay, that's easy, right? Yes. Okay, but you guys aren't doing it that way. What you guys are doing is you're doing $10,000
Minus your transaction.
minus 800, okay, minus, we had one this morning, minus $1,000 because you had to give $1,000 back to your client for home warranty or whatever. Now, where are we at?
8,200.
Right? So are we like at 82?
Yep.
Minus 25%. That's wrong. You can't do that. Not if you're putting 25% here, reading that, you cannot do the second one. Okay? So if you have had a conversation with that referral agent and you have said, hey, I'll give you 25%, but I'm taking out any customer concessions and I'm taking out my transaction fee, excuse me, then you've got to use other, and you have to write it in there. 25% minus transaction fee minus customer concessions, then equals your commission. Okay? And that's not what's been happening. You guys are putting in 25%, subtracting everything, and then we can't cut that check.
But wouldn't they want it just plain 25% anyway? They're
Right.
deducting
And the
from
receiving
their.
side was.
Well, yeah, what did Kurt just say? Kurt, what did you say?
I said the receiving side sure would.
Right, this goes both ways.
So that's the problem that we
Right.
have, is that all of a sudden, if I'm taking away all of your concessions and then cutting that check to that other agent, they're gonna come back and they're gonna say, hey, wait a minute, you owe me $1,800, or a portion of it, okay? So be careful how you do it and how you're writing it. If you've had that conversation with them, you can use the other. If you have not had that conversation with that other agent, you cannot subtract off of that 25%. Okay?
And what you need to do, if I was...
Why would you subtract from it? We're all confused, like.
Okay, here, you send me a referral. Here's an example. I'm in another Realty One office, right? You send me a referral, $10,000, you're expecting $2,500, right? But I didn't get $10,000, okay? I'm gonna take my transaction fee off that, and I had to give my buyer $1,000, so I only got $8,200, okay? So I'm gonna give you 25% of $8,200. Are you happy with that? Are you happy with that?
No.
No. That's the problem, okay?
That's the
Yeah.
problem.
We were seeing it
From the other side, right. Like you're gonna pay the 25%, right? Okay, but so you need to have a conversation with the other agent when you put 25 or 30% there in an email. Hey, Patrick, just making sure the referral fee is based on the gross commission check that you receive from title, right? Question mark. And that's it, send it out, and then you're covered that way. Because they might say, oh no, that's not how we do it in Laguna Beach. Yeah, well, that's not how we do it at Keller Williams or whoever your referral is with.
But it has to be spelled out.
Yeah.
If it's not spelled out,
Well,
then
they
you're
didn't, yeah, they didn't say,
entitled for that
you were involved in
25.
that, I think, or you with him.
Yeah, no,
When
it
the
was-
Arizona office was taking out all of their fees first and then cutting the check to
Yes.
us. And I said,
And
no.
that can't
No.
happen.
It goes off the whole thing.
Correct.
And so they had to recut.
Of course, yeah.
that's-
I'm not saying they tried to pull a quick one by you there, but maybe they did. And we caught them,
We tried. Okay, so does anybody have any questions? Because like I said, we're getting a lot of referrals coming through my desk and I'm rejecting all of them because you guys are calculating it, wrong. So just make sure if you have had that conversation with them, then use the other and spell it out, because it's all the same thing that everybody says, right? Disclosure, disclosure, disclosure. So if you disclose it to them, that, hey, I'm taking this out of your commission, and they don't have a problem with it, and they've signed it, we're all good to go. But if you haven't, and you put 25%, you guys are in the wrong. You cannot subtract anything. Got it?
Easy
Cool,
peasy?
that was easy.
That was easy. There you go. We're here, everybody. Hey, and don't forget, at 11 o'clock, if you want to come back in here and you have a transaction desk matrix question, just let Maria know in advance and she'll come in here and do her Tech Thursday for you. So a lot of times it's only been a handful of people and you all want to talk about the same thing. It makes it easier for her, okay? Other than that, gang, we all know Barbara. Where's Barbara? Welcome back. I didn't say hello to Laura Moran. Say hello to Laura Moran in the back, bay. There's an escrow officer. So if you have any escrow questions, she's going to hang out for a little bit so you can pick her brain. That's Laura. Other than that, John's not here. Thanks for showing up, John. We appreciate the bagels. God damn it, you know. He has this. I'm going to find out what this means. What does this mean? You're a smart guy. Fannie and Freddie confirm. No changes to seller paid buyer agent commissions.
As a part of the seller concessions that an appraiser has to worry about.
So it's not from me getting my commission. It has to do with the appraisal part of it, right?
It has to do with the treatment of concessions in the IPC's interested party contributions.
Okay, because these are great.
Included in that, for us, it's an absolute, it's baked into the cake.
Okay, because this was.
We're not going to be making adjustments downward for sellers that pay a buyer's commission.
Okay, because this was blasted over social media the last couple of days, and it's confusing what it means. I'm not really sure what it means yet until we get John Morgan in here. Maybe that's why he didn't show up. We're going to nail him on this baby here, you know? You know?
I saw a video yesterday that says that those things will remain on the seller's side of the HUD. Which is that those items will remain on the seller's side of the
Like they
HUD.
normally have for 100
Like they
years.
have, yes.
Right.
For FHA conventional, they didn't discuss CPA.
Right, okay. But I think what might have to happen is on the contract, the RPA, there's going to be some new fields in there. Or maybe we have to know if we can include in 3% seller paid closing costs if closing costs mean our commission. That's the concern with the lawsuit. That can we put that word in there, commissions or not?
But they're also saying that it's probably going to cause steering, so the DOJ wants to get rid of that altogether. So.
Yeah, it's a little bit above all of our pay grades, but we'll find out some more, gang. Okay. Alrighty, gang, that's all I kind of got for you today. There's a bunch of other stuff in here, as always. Refer back to it. Hey, real quick, I need your help on this. Some of you have done this. I think 2 of you have recently sent in your third person that we hired. Then it's free for a year, okay? I think you'll all agree with this NAR settlement, there's not many other companies doing what we're doing, educating you guys. I got friends of mine at RE/MAX that are calling me up. Either you guys are telling them or they're hearing about it, wanting to come to our meetings because they don't know what's going on, okay? So it's a good time for us to take a lot of those agents and have more for Realty One Group. Let's be honest, okay? If they're not getting help there, so you'll notice in the emails that I send you, if you have a closing, you're going to see in the email at the bottom, P.S. Brian, how was Mary Jones at RE/MAX? In other words, how did that agent go? Was that a good agent? Was she horrible? If that agent did a good job on your transaction, let me know. Me and Wendy are going to call him up and talk to him and try to get him over here. So it's a good chance for us to kind of get some really good agents in here, okay? So we kind of need your help with that, okay? Anything else? Last things for Brent before he goes? Last minute appraisal?
I emailed a copy of the report, what it looks like. He's going to post it on Facebook.
Mhm.
And yeah, please, can't wait to get your input on it.
Right. We'll have Brent back in about 3-4 weeks. Pick his brain about what it's all about and see if we want to use it. So good stuff. We're good, Suze?
Spots open for blood.
Blood. Yes. Let's go do some. That a girl. Look at you. Wow. Woohoo. Okay. Yeah, I'm going to run in the blood thing now. I think Carrie Clark just went in there. Right. All right, guys. Thank you all as always. Brent, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Enjoyed
Thanks
it.
for having me.
Thank you.